Hello, Kin. Welcome. My name is George, and today's topic is the alphabet. First of all, it is important to mention that the alphabet that I'm going to present is not a written system that you can find in archaeological zones. Thanks to the interaction I've had with some people who are original or who were born in places where those archaeological zones are, I have found that many of these, that apparently the written system that you can find in those archaeological zones comes from another Maya language that is called Chol. However, this is somehow similar to Latin, for instance. People used to use Bulgar Latin to communicate, but they used to write, for instance, by with formal Latin. There was a distinction, and apparently that's a similar situation with Yucatec Maya. However, Yucatec Maya is another language that comes from Maya languages. I mean, Chol is an independent language nowadays, and it's a language that you can still find in Palenque, for instance, near to Chiapas. In Chiapas actually, and very close to Tabasco, another state from Mexico. Chiapas is another state from Mexico. And definitely the written system that you can find in the so-called stelas that you can find in archaeological zones is a very complex system and very, very interesting. I hope to develop a couple of videos later on that system in order to share what I know. And it will be very interesting, I think, because the written system that was used in the past was very, very interesting and complex. And that's why I like the Maya culture on the one hand. On the other hand, because of its history and some other factors. I'm going to make a video talking about that, my interest on Yucatec Maya, which I think it should be actually made on a separate video. Now, regarding the system, I'm going to provide some translations in English. The translations in English were not found in the material I'm going to provide. Those translations were made by me, yes. And I hope this is useful for you, for the ones who are learning Yucatec Maya. All right. Okay, let's get started. All right, guys, so let's get started. So we're going to be working with the alphabet. I'm going to present, first of all, the letter, then one example, then the translation I found in Spanish, and then the translation I made in English. Yes, as I told you, the translations in English were not found in this material. So, for instance, we have Bosch, which means black, Bosch. And then we have Chac, which means red, or rojo in Spanish. Then we have, for example, Otop, which means key. Ja, which means water. Then we have, for example, Chay, which means fish. Then we have L, for example, luch, meaning a small cup or a bowl. Then we have which, for example, ma, meaning no, the negation. Then we have for example, na, meaning mother, na. Then we have peg, meaning dog. And then we have p, p. For example, ought, ought, meaning quiff, ought, ought. Then we have second, second, meaning mass or dog. Then we have taman, taman, meaning lamb or sheep. Then we have el, meaning rooster. And then, for example, sem, meaning chest. And then we have, for example, sep, meaning cross-eyed. Then we have u. For example, wakash, meaning beef. And then we have sh. For example, shamach, meaning hot plate. Well, this is, well, that's the way I will say it, but chamach or comal, which actually comes from Nahuatl, is a Mexican word. And yeah, it's like a hot plate where you can heat tortillas, and especially tortillas, but also bread. And it's very common in Mexico, because it's, well, not only because it's Mexican, but also because it's very useful for us. So then we have E. For example, yash, meaning first, yash. All right, so now there are some very important remarks, and I think this is important to share, such as la letra R solamente se utiliza en sustitución de la letra L y nunca aparece al principio ni al final de la palabra. The letter R is only used, or it's only used to replace the letter L, and it never appears nor at the beginning nor at the end of a word. Solamente en medio de dicha palabra, but only in the middle of it. For example, toolish is normally written tourish, which means libélula, like a five flyer, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have kulut, which is normally written like kurut, which is like desgastarse, or to wear out. Now, something else. Las letras C, Q, por su sonido se representan con la letra K. Okay, this is the letters C and Q, because of its sound, are represented by using the letter K. The thing is, in Spanish, for example, just to give you a couple of them, for instance, the word for house is normally written like this. Well, it's written like this, yes? And the pronunciation is like this. Or, for example, the word for cheese is normally written like this, but it's pronounced like this. So, well, this remark has to do with Spanish native speakers who learn Yucatec Maya, but there are some other languages where you have a similar sound. So, well, C and K will not actually be used in Yucatec Maya, but everything that sounds like is always represented by using the letter K, which makes things easier, I think. Yes. And then la letra Z con la S, the letter Z is replaced by using the letter S. La B o B chica, V, con la B. Letter V is replaced by using letter B. because similar case like in Mexican Spanish, we don't make a distinction between V and B. Well, there are some other languages where you make the distinction, like in French, Italian, and German, for instance, Croatian, and yeah, and Russian as well. But in Mexican Spanish, we don't make the distinction. In Yucatec Maya, I mean, the same. We just use the letter B to express both V and B, because there is no V in Yucatec Maya either. La doble L con la Y, double L represented or substituted by using the letter Y, because the sound G is the same in both cases. So it will always be represented, I mean, the sound G will always be represented by using the letter Y. All right? Very good. So moving on. Now, speaking of vowels, there are different types of vowels. We have, first of all, we have A, E, I, O, U. Yes? And then we have a double vowel, which represents a longer sound, such as A, E, I, O, U. And then we have, again, the same double pair of vowels, but in this case, using this symbol, which is normally called accent or apostrophe, I mean. Well, it's in this case, I mean, this symbol represents that the intonation raises. So you don't say you say like if it were a question. E, I, O, U. Well, U. And then we have, again, the first pair of vowels, but in this case, you have an apostrophe. That represents a stop. You have to make a pause right after the sound. So you don't say you say a. You don't say you say e. You don't say I, you say I. You don't say O, you say O. You don't say U, you say U. And in here, well, you have to repeat the vowel, but you have to make a pause, such as a, e, I, o, u. All right? So those are the vowels we use in Yucatec Maya. I'll give you a couple examples. Let's start with the vowel A, or A, better said. We have, for instance, back, meaning meat. Again, the translations I'm providing in English were made by me. I hope they are as accurate as possible. Then we have back, meaning bone. Bat, meaning axe. Then we have ha, meaning water. Baal, meaning object. All right, let's take a look at the next couple of vowels. We have e, for example, ll, which means to burn. Ep, meaning ladder. Ek, meaning stain. He, meaning egg. Heep, meaning key. Very good. And then we have E. For example, each, meaning fruit. Eep, meaning white bean. Simin, meaning horse. Ki, meaning good. And then we have Ishiim, meaning corn. Then we have the word O, which is otoch, meaning house. och, meaning fox. Up, I'm sorry, up, meaning anona, which is a tropical tree. And then we have so, meaning Turkey. Not the country, the animal. And then we have boy, meaning shadow. And then we have u. For example, meaning moon. Bug, meaning to leave. Book, meaning clothes. Tu, meaning stinky. Buul, meaning bean. All right, now another very important remark I found is the following. Debemos de tomar muy en cuenta el uso de las vocales en la representación del tono o pronunciación en la lengua maya. It is very important to keep in mind the usage of vowels representing the tone or pronunciation in the Maya language, ya que su presencia o ausencia cambia el significado de las palabras, because its presence or absence, changes the meaning of the words. Analice los siguientes ejemplos. Let's take a look at the following examples. Let's see. In here, we have, for instance, chak, which means red, but chak, which means to parboil. Then we have chak, meaning rain. Again, chak, chak, Another, or some other cases are egg, meaning star. The first one means wasp, and the last one, egg, meaning dirty. So again, egg, and then we have meese, meaning cat. Meese, meaning broom. Again, meese, and the last pair I have, balche, meaning liquor, and baalche, meaning animal. Again, baalche. So as you can observe, the different intonation and the pauses in some cases are, take a very important place in order to distinguish some of these words. You don't have to worry about, at the beginning, if you don't actually have the, let's say, the right sound, because in reality, because of the context, in many cases, because of the context, it is very easy to predict its meaning. I think it happens in many languages. Context is always very useful in order to determine the meaning of something, or the meaning of a word, better said, yes? Now, I have a very important question for you. Just out of curiosity, well, two of them. The first one is, in your opinion, to what extent is it necessary a written or writing system? And the second question is, how many writing systems do you know? Very curious I would like to know your opinion about these two questions, because I've heard some people consider languages to have a writing system. And some people claim that if a language does not have a writing system, it is not a language. And I think, well, I would like to know your opinion. So please leave your opinion in the comments, in the section, in the description, or the comments section down below, I'm sorry. And yeah, I will be very glad to know your opinion about it. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to subscribe and to leave a comment. I'll be checking them. And if you give me a like, that would be very useful for the channel in order to continue making these videos. And well, I hope this explanation was clear enough, especially in order to understand the way the alphabet is constructed. If you have any questions, you can also leave your questions on the comment section down below. And well, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in the next episode. Kanan taba.